Julia Washington stared at the enormous bed and felt her knees buckle. She'd been standing for 19 hours straight, and every muscle in her body was screaming for rest. Julia was 38 years old and had been cleaning luxury apartments in Chicago for 8 years. She had 2 sons, Marcus, who was 15, and little Devon, who was 9. Their father had left when Devon was a baby, and Julia had been doing everything alone ever since. Most nights, Julia worked from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., cleaning offices and penthouses while the wealthy people who owned them slept in their comfortable beds. Then she'd go home, get her boys ready for school, sleep for 3 hours, and wake up to work her day job at the grocery store. Tonight, she was cleaning the penthouse of Francis Blackwell, the real estate billionaire who owned half of downtown Chicago. Everyone knew his name. He'd started with nothing and built an empire of hotels and apartments. The newspapers called him a genius. Julia just knew he was rich enough to have someone else clean his toilet. Francis was away on business in London. His housekeeper had left a note. Mr. Blackwell returns Thursday. Please have everything perfect. Julia pushed her cart through the massive apartment. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, art that probably cost more than her entire apartment building. She dusted, vacuumed, scrubbed, and polished until everything gleamed. Finally, she reached the master bedroom. The bed was huge, a California king, with soft gray sheets and at least a dozen pillows. Julia had never seen anything like it. Her own bed back in the South Side was a lumpy mattress she'd found at a thrift store. She cleaned around the bed carefully, organizing the nightstand and wiping down the expensive lamp. Her reflection stared back at her from the mirror across the room, a tired black woman in a faded cleaning uniform, with bags under her eyes and gray streaks starting to show in her hair. Julia's back suddenly spasmed. The pain was so sharp she gasped and grabbed the bedpost. Her doctor had warned her about this too. Too many hours on her feet, too much heavy lifting, not enough rest. But what choice did she have? Her boys needed to eat. Marcus needed new shoes. Devon needed his asthma medication. She sat down on the edge of the bed, just for a moment, just to let the pain pass. The mattress felt like sitting on a cloud. Julia lay back slowly, telling herself she'd rest for exactly 2 minutes. The pillow cradled her head. The sheets smelled like expensive laundry detergent and something else. "Miss? Excuse me, miss?" Julia jerked awake. Sunlight poured through the windows. A tall white man stood in the doorway, wearing a business suit with his tie loosened. His blue eyes were wide with concern, not anger. Julia's heart dropped into her stomach. She scrambled off the bed so fast she nearly fell. "Mr. Blackwell, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just—" "Are you okay?" he asked, stepping into the room. He set down his Leno briefcase. "I'm fine, sir. I'm so sorry. This has never happened before. I just sat down for 1 second and I must have—" Julia's voice cracked. She was going to lose this job. The cleaning company would fire her. How would she pay rent? Francis held up both hands. "Please, calm down. Take a breath." Julia tried to breathe, but panic was flooding her chest. "Please don't call my supervisor. I have 2 kids and I can't lose this job. I'll work extra hours for free. "I'm not calling anyone," Francis said firmly. "But I do want to know why you're so exhausted that you fell asleep while working." Julia wiped her eyes. "I work 2 jobs, sir. Sometimes 3 if I can get weekend shifts. I've been up since yesterday morning." Francis's expression changed. "How long have you been awake?" "About 22 hours, sir. But I'm okay. I'm used to it." "You're not okay," he said quietly. "When's the last time you ate?" Julia thought about it. "Yesterday's lunch. A pack of crackers from the vending machine at the grocery store. I had something yesterday, sir." Francis shook his head. "Come with me. I'm making you breakfast." Julia was certain she'd misheard. "Sir?" "Breakfast. Food."
You're going to eat, and then we're going to talk. Mr. Blackwell, I should really finish cleaning and the cleaning.
10 minutes later, Julia sat at Francis Blackwell's kitchen island, watching a billionaire make her scrambled eggs and toast. It was the most surreal moment of her life. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Francis said as he cooked. My dad worked in the steel mills until they closed down. After that, he couldn't find steady work. My mom cleaned houses, just like you. Julia accepted the plate he handed her. The eggs were fluffy and buttery. Real food, not the cheap instant meals she usually ate. I remember coming home from school and not seeing my mom for days at a time, Frances continued, pouring her orange juice. She'd work nights, sleep a few hours, then work her day job. I barely knew her until I was a teenager. That's my life now, Julia said softly. My boys, sometimes I feel like I'm just the lady who leaves money on the counter for groceries. I miss so much. Marcus had a basketball game last week and I couldn't go because I was working. Frances sat down across from her. Tell me about them, your sons. So Julia told him about Marcus, who was smart and funny and wanted to be an engineer, about Devon, who loved dinosaurs and drawing and had asthma that required expensive medication, about how she was terrified every single day that she wouldn't be able to give them the life they deserved. Francis listened to every word. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. I want to offer you a job, he said. Julia's heart sank. Sir, I promise I'll never fall asleep again. Please don't fire me from the cleaning company. I need... No, not that kind of job, Francis interrupted. A real job. I need a property manager for my residential buildings, someone who understands what tenants need because they've lived it, someone honest and hardworking. The salary is $75,000 a year, plus health insurance for your whole family. Julia stared at him. The number didn't make sense. She currently made $28,000 working 2 jobs. Sir, I don't have a college degree. I dropped out to have Marcus and... I don't have a college degree either, Francis said. I have something better. I have experience, and from what I've seen of how you work, how you care about doing things right, even when you're exhausted, you're exactly who I need. Why would you do this? Julia whispered. You don't even know me. Francis smiled sadly. Because 30 years ago, someone gave my mother a chance when she desperately needed it. A woman named Mrs. Chen hired my mom to manage her apartment building instead of just cleaning it. That job changed our lives. It gave us stability. It gave my mom time to actually be with me. It's the reason I'm sitting here today. Tears ran down Julia's face. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Francis said gently. Say you'll give yourself and your sons a chance at something better. 6 months later, Julia stood in the lobby of Blackwell Tower, wearing a professional navy blue suit. Her new office was on the 3rd floor with a window that overlooked the Chicago River. On her desk sat 2 framed photos, one of Marcus and Devon, and one of her team of property managers she'd helped hire. The job was challenging, but Julia loved it. She worked regular hours now, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. She had health insurance. Devon's asthma was under control with proper medication. Marcus had new basketball shoes and was talking about college. Most importantly, Julia was actually there for her boys now. She made them breakfast every morning. She helped with homework. She'd been to every one of Marcus's games and every one of Devon's school art shows. Francis had become more than a boss. He was a mentor and a friend. He'd introduced her to other property managers, helped her learn the business, and treated her with respect every single day. When she'd tried to thank him, he'd just smiled and said, "Thank Mrs. Chen. And someday, when you're in a position to help someone else, pass it forward." Julia's phone buzzed. A text from Devon. "Mom, I got an A on my dinosaur project. Can we celebrate with pizza tonight?" Julia smiled and typed back, "Absolutely. I'll be home by 6. She looked out her office window at the city skyline. Somewhere out there was the South Side apartment where she'd struggled for so many years. Somewhere out there were other women working 3 jobs, barely sleeping, wondering if things would ever get better. Julia opened her laptop and pulled up the job posting she'd been working on. Property manager assistant needed. No degree required, looking for hard-working, honest person with real-world experience. We believe in second chances and new beginnings. She smiled and hit publish. It was time to pass it forward.